I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do.
Right.
A leader that you can't trust, to me, is not a leader. I've met tremendous number of managers and very few leaders. There are a lot of folks who can manage things,
Right.
but I don't think there's a lot of folks who can lead. I think the other thing you do, and at least I do, is to make sure my folks feel empowered. I need to let you do your thing. How can I help you? And what can I move out the way? One of the things my father taught me is that as a leader, your goals are made up of the goals of your people. So if you concentrate on helping them out, they all roll up. You'll get your things that you need to get. I've always approached it that way. How do I help you be better? How do I help you accomplish the things you need to do?
Yeah.
Because if I do all that, that'll roll up to me and I'll be fine.
All right, welcome to the Todd Boffo Show. I got a special guest for you today. You are going to enjoy this episode. I want to welcome Ken Johnson here with us. KJ, as he will be referred to from here on. Am I allowed to stick with KJ?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Man,
I am in the circle because I can call him KJ, but he's a leader whose journey spans not just athletics, but the military, corporate sales, and nearly 3 decades inside one of the most iconic brands in the world, in Nike, and working with the Jordan brand and multiple different levels. He grew up in the DMV area, one of 8 children, ran track at Virginia Tech on scholarship. After joining the ROTC, was commissioned as a second lieutenant with his first duty station at the Pentagon.
Correct.
That's impressive. And served over 7 years in the Air Force before transitioning Xerox. Then he got to Nike, spent 27 years at Nike. You're there right now. But beyond your career, you're a man of faith.
Amen.
You're a husband and proud of your family. And now you're working on a book. We'll touch on that a little bit later. You're going to be an author. You know, he's just grown up. KJ's just growing up.
Remind me, because you need to help me come up with a title. I haven't found a title.
I'm here for it.
So let's work and see.
I'm here for it. Yeah. And really what you're doing is the book, also we'll touch on this, is really currently writing a book that passed down some life lessons to the next generation.
Correct, absolutely.
Especially those that are fatherless or those that don't have a father present. Ken, it is an honor. KJ, it's an honor to have you on the show today, man. Thank you for being here.
Man,
appreciate it.
Honor to be
and
here,
also to have somebody else from the East Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. You know, from at least, I'm in Arizona. We're in Portland. We can't get much farther unless we go to Alaska or Hawaii, away from the East Coast.
But you finally found a good pizza place, at least there in Italian.
Yeah, we found some. We got a little something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got some. I'm actually, funny enough, I'm doing a couple cooking episodes because I love cooking. I went to culinary school. As you can see, I like to eat. And, but I'm doing a couple cooking episodes. I'm going to do it with a chef. He's a James Beard Award-winning chef.
Wow.
Iron Chef in Italy. He was on it, and then he's part of a restaurant that just opened in Scottsdale. So in the next couple weeks, I'm going to be shooting an episode with him while we're cooking and talking. And
man, that's
fantastic. Fun. But
Iron Chef's one of my favorite deals I watch.
Really? Yeah.
I'm a big Bobby Flay guy. So
yeah.
Beat Bobby Flay is one of my favorite shows. So
yeah, that's a legend.
Yeah, man.
So Nike's got to get into the chef business. So when you're ready, drop my name, bro.
Okay.
Drop my name. Yeah, we'll do
some tricks and I'll do.
Oh, yeah. But man, so you served a lot in a lot of different areas, especially the military.
Sure.
So and the Air Force. Tell me about that. How did that happen?
You know what? It's funny, Todd. I went to Virginia Tech actually to play football and run track, and my football thing didn't work out, so I ended up running track. And my sophomore year of college, my brother Lily asked me, "What are you doing, man, this summer?" I said, "I don't know." He goes, "Hey, the ROTC guys, you can join up ROTC. No commitment right now." I said, "What do you have to do?" He said, "They'll send you to camp. They'll pay for it. You have to run and do push-ups and all that stuff." And I said, "Well, I'm in unbelievable shape." I went over to the ROTC building and signed up.
Wow.
So
just like that?
Just like that. So they send me off to camp, have a great time at camp. And I said, "This thing's all right." Get back to Virginia Tech, who has a Corps of Cadets. Meet with the general, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about going in the Corps of Cadets?" I was like, "Nah, man, I'm not doing that." He goes, "If you do it, you pay you $150 a month." I said, "Where do I sign?" So that's how
really, that's funny.
That's how I got in, man. So decided to go in, and really kind of fell in love with it once I got involved in it. First duty station out of there at the Pentagon, which is a story in itself.
Yeah, what was that like? What were you doing?
You know, it's interesting because you go there as a second lieutenant. We call it butter bar. They would tease you about.
Okay.
So you're the lowest ranking officer in the Pentagon.
Gotcha.
Of course, everybody thinks you go there to make coffee, but you actually have a job and some things you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting enough, I was a computer systems officer at that time. Ironically, the spot where the plane ran into the Pentagon would have been my office. It had a 9/11. So we're sitting here on 9/11.
Wow.
That would have been my location in the Pentagon.
That's
at
crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Man, so computers and what were you guys, were you tracking things?
Not at that time. We
Communication?
actually were doing more collecting the data and things like that.
Okay.
Some classified stuff, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
Don't worry, we'll blur your face. Go ahead, keep talking. We'll change, Nick, can we change his voice and blur his face? I'll be like, KJ, I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
it's so old and stuff we're doing that, but personal data and things like that. So data that we were tracking.
Cool.
But yeah.
And then where'd you go from there in the military?
So actually, I spent 4 years there, and then from there, I took an assignment up in Canada. Believe it or not. So
Really?
a place called the Dew Line. If you look up now, it's now called North Warning. It's about 80, 90 miles north of the Arctic Circle. Believe it or not.
Wow.
Northwest territory. So ironically, after 4 years at the Pentagon, I literally called the personnel guys and I said, look, love the Pentagon experience, had some interesting things happened here. I want to go out in the field and do some stuff. And they said, dude, the only way you're going to get out of that assignment is you're going to have to take a remote assignment. I said, that's fine. Where? Korea or somewhere? He said, let me peek and see if we can find something. So he called me back in a couple of weeks. They say, hey, look, Lieutenant, I was first lieutenant then, there's an assignment in this place called Hall Beach, Canada. And I'm thinking, how bad can it be? Hall Beach?
Yeah.
I'm in. He goes, really? He goes, yeah, I'm in. So he sent me orders and stuff like that. And then I called back and I said, hey, by the way, tell me what this place is. He goes, you got a map in front of you? I said, I sure do.
Gosh.
So he goes, go north, go here, Hudson River. I said, yeah, I'm here. He goes, oh, no, you got to go north of that. And I said, hey, I just passed the Arctic Circle. He goes,
You're over.
yeah, you're almost. He said, go up just a little while further and you'll find it. And there, lo and behold,
Wow, 4 years.
So I did 13 months up there.
13 months. Okay.
Yeah. It's called a quality assurance evaluator / commander of a sector. There's 6 sectors of a radar system we had up there.
Okay.
And that was designed to check what we call air breathing threats. So basically the Russians spied over the globe.
Yeah. So interesting. My dad was in the Navy, but he was stationed in Iceland. I was born in Iceland. And so he did sonar stuff. So he's back in the 60s, and they were monitoring movements across that Northern Sea, I guess, or whatever, and subs and whatever else they were doing. But yeah.
Well, that's how I found out about Iceland. So I didn't spend any time in Iceland, but I got a chance to hop over to Greenland.
Okay. Yeah.
And I kept asking the Iceland, hey, why do you guys call this place Greenland? They said to throw people off. Greenland was all ice.
And Iceland has green.
nice.
Yeah, supposedly it's nicer. Yeah, that's funny. That is funny. So, man, yeah, that military career, was that a good match for you, military career?
Oh, no
And
question
like
about
looking
it.
at your leadership positions that you've held, how did the military shape that for you?
You know what? I think one of the things the military did for me is they allowed me to be me and to stand up as an individual. So I always had commanders, leaders who would come to me and say, hey, here's what we expect of you.
Mm-hmm.
My father did that from day one. Hey, here's what I expect from you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we were kind of born to be leaders in my family, at least the way my dad taught us. He's a retired master sergeant.
Okay.
And he kind of, hey, here's the task at hand. Here's what I want you to do. And you're held responsible for that.
Right.
So I think the military was just an extension of that.
Mm.
Here's what we need you to do. You're responsible for getting it done.
Right.
And I think I learned that, like I said, from day one growing up in my family.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like your dad had a really good upbringing. It looks like, well, I'm guessing. I already know the answer to this question. He's from West Philly, though. Or,
Yeah, he's a Philly guy.
yeah, so that makes sense. A lot of great things came out of it.
Well, yes, they do.
Yeah, I mean, we only gave the country the Constitution, but that whatever. I don't want to bring that up, but yeah,
I
but
think they signed it in Virginia, though.
yeah, they may have, but he was busy trying to include everybody. That's how magnanimous we are. But no, that's neat. That must have been interesting growing up. Did you have a lot of good mentors around you?
No, I think more so family. It's interesting, Todd, because in my family, like I said, 8 kids. We grew up in a pretty, I say, low middle income area.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of guys I grew up with didn't have fathers. So that was always, the big contrast. I had a father that didn't have fathers. And they loved to talk to him. my dad, ironically, was such a, I would say, a paradox, because he was a tremendously disciplined guy, except he was a gambler. He learned that from his father.
Gotcha.
And that's the piece, if everybody has a vice, that was his vice. And it was a big one.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But he still taught us other things that we were able to.
That were really valuable.
Right.
Yeah.
Extremely valuable.
Yeah. That's really good. Yeah, I always say everybody's got a shadow.
Absolutely.
We all do.
Yeah.
And everybody's got a struggle.
It's ironic. So, even in my book, I've got a book and it talks about, skeletons in your closet. I mean, that's one of the chapters. Yeah. And I say that, and I say, guys, in that one, I tell folks that if you open up the wrong closet of my life, the bones might run you over. I mean, serious.
That's so good, man. Yeah. So speak to that for a minute. Was there a time in your life that you felt like, did you grow up as a believer in God, or how did?
I didn't, although my mother was a believer. She was insistent on us going to church. So we did every weekend, me and my family.
You're showing up.
Yeah, we were the church boys. In the neighborhood. Hey, man, you getting on the church? Yeah, I'm getting on the church bus, going to church. My dad, ironically, was just the opposite. He became a Christian 2 weeks before he died.
Wow.
So amazing story in that, and my sister praying. But I think what it did, Todd, I was one of those athletes, and I say gifted. As a freshman, I made the varsity football team. Had surgery on my feet, had bunions removed, and got put back down to JV as a sophomore. Had all kinds of complications from that. And I think the humbling of that, ironically, that following summer is when I accepted Christ. And I went from the highs of a freshman in school, about 7,000 students, where people knew your name, to people that knew who I was.
Yeah.
And all that happened in a span of months.
Yeah.
And I think what I learned from that, at least from God, was that he kind of spoke to me and said, I'm the only one that will know you no matter what's going on. So your highs and your lows, I'm the dependable one.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
And that made me give my life to him.
Yeah, I think in the world we live in, I'm on social media, and for what I do, it's part of what I do, right? And so, but at the same time, understanding, and I work with a lot of great, amazing people, some are well known, and it's knowing the difference between what a fan is, what a friend is, and what family is.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There's a big difference.
And there's a lot of people, man, that have a lot of fans, a lot of people around them, but that doesn't mean that they're family. It doesn't mean that they're friends. And being able to put people in the right place and understand that, because sometimes people go all in and they put value in things that they can't deliver. No, I was never going to deliver that.
And it's fortunate for me, I say a blessing, that I learned that at an early age. Because I did. I watched my popularity go from, like I said, 100 to 0.
Right.
I thought I was the stuff. Everybody knew your name, kind of.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point nobody knew your name.
Right.
Oh, you're on the ball team. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it.
So how did you end up going military, then got to Nike? How does that happen?
It's interesting. I just love athletics. So from the military, I actually went to work for Xerox for 7 years. I always tell guys.
For sales?
For sales.
Yeah.
But he talked about the 7 years of completeness, or 7 being the completeness of the Lord. So I always think about that as I relate my story to some people. I said 7 years in the military, active duty, 7 years at Xerox, and then I finally fell into something that I love to do. And I pursued Nike, Todd, for about 5 years.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Trying to get in.
Trying to get in. I met with some guys, kind of told them, hey, I'm at Xerox. I'm doing well, but I don't have any passions for it. So I read 2 books.
So you weren't in love with copiers?
No.
That's so weird.
I was a sports girl.
No, it makes sense. No, it makes sense.
No. So ironically, I tell guys, I said I read Who Moved My Cheese.
Oh, yeah. That was a great book.
That was a great book.
Gosh, what's
I don't even remember the author.
He wrote 1 Minute Manager, too.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
I got to meet him once.
Oh,
way back in the day.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I read that, and I read What Color Is My Parachute. If you remember that.
I don't remember. I remember the name. I didn't read it. Yeah.
But that was one of those books that talked about describing or trying to find out your passion. So after I read those, I went to my guy, his name was Freddie, who was my best man. I said, dude, I read these, but I still don't know what my passion is. And he goes, you know what's interesting, KJ? He goes, I don't know what your passion is, but every time I see you, you got a swoosh on. I was like, nah, man. He goes, look, a hat on a shirt, or shorts.
He's like, look at the mirror.
And his shoes. He's like,
right.
Every time I see you, dude,
wow,
that's what you have on. From there, I started pursuing
That's amazing.
No,
And then you got the job. What was your first job?
actually, I was called an equipment rep. I was living in D.C., so I joined them in D.C. And I have to share this, Todd, only because my last interview, so I interviewed with them in 97, May or so of 97. I didn't hear back from them until October of 98.
Wow.
And we talked about, hey, I'll send you messages. So nobody would respond to my messages, phone calls, any of that. So when they called me, they said, hey, we remember interviewing you. I've got the position for you. You need to go here, and you're going to interview with this guy. If he likes you, you're in. Well, I missed the flight for the interview. But I missed it because with the admin person, we had decided I live probably 10 minutes from National Airport. So we talked about the flight. Hey, I'm going to put you on this flight. I'm going to do this, and I'll overnight you the ticket. So I'm like, great. She did all that. I get to the airport. I don't even open up the envelope because I know what it is. Hand it to the lady. She goes,
oh, wrong airport. No way.
Right, this flight leaves from Dulles.
Oh.
Now, if you know the landscape in Washington, D.C., National Dulles is quite a way.
Yeah, good luck. You ain't going to make it.
And he goes, it's leaving in a couple hours. So I get on the road, and I probably drive on the HOV lane, in the police lane, 100 miles an hour. I get there, they're closing the door. So I run up to the ticket, and I say, hey, listen, I got to get on that flight to get an interview. She goes, no way. I said, no, the plane's right there. She goes, FAA rules, I cannot open the door. I'm like, ma'am, I've been waiting for this interview for 5 years. The plane is right there. She goes, I don't care where it is. This door is not being opened.
Wow.
So, of course, then I have to call down and tell them, hey, guys, here's what happened, so on and so on. Well, come on down next flight, which I did. The guy that interviewed me is the most curt interview I've had in my life. I mean, hey, Ken, what about this? I don't need to hear that.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, why this guy bring me down here?
Right.
So, ironically, I fly back, and he goes, hey, thanks for coming down. Appreciate you. Got to have a good life, as he was saying. So,
wow.
Get on the plane, get off the plane. First phone call comes from my mother. Hey, son, how'd it go? I said, it went terrible. She goes, what do you mean? I told her what happened. She said, son, all I know is that what the Lord has for you is for you. I said, yeah, Mom, I hear you, but I blew this thing. And I said, I waited. She goes, son, that's all I know. What the Lord has for you. I can't tell you the number of minutes, but shortly thereafter, I get a call from the guy, hey, I need some references from you. Wow. I'm like, what? I said, this dude, he goes, I need 3 references right now. Give them to me. Gave him 2 of my old bosses at Xerox. They both told him, listen, if you're not going to hire this guy, let me know because we want to offer him a position to move back to Austin, Texas. I was in D.C. then. The third young lady was a young lady I used to pray and do Bible studies with.
Oh, wow.
And I think by the time she finished preaching to the guy, he's like,
close the deal.
Close the deal. I better hire him.
Oh, that's
cool. They called me the next day. We want to offer you a job. I'm going to send you a ticket. Look at it and make sure where you're leaving from. And do it down there. 2 days later, I was in Houston at a sales meeting.
Wow. And then you got hired.
And I got hired.
So then you went to, and then, I mean, we're at Beaverton now, but you worked in, where else did you work?
Everywhere, man. So I actually started in Washington, D.C. From there, moved to Greensboro, North Carolina. From Greensboro, North Carolina to Dallas, Texas. From Dallas, Texas to Los Angeles. From Los Angeles to
Always
Atlanta.
on the sales side?
Always on the sales side. Different product, though.
Okay.
And different brands. So I worked on the Nike brand and also on the Jordan brand. And then I left from Atlanta to Beaverton, Portland, Oregon.
Gotcha. And how long you been here?
This is it'll be year 12 in May. In March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's about how long I lived in Arizona.
That's all right, man.
Yeah, from Jersey to Arizona. So what's been one of the highlights of working here?
You know what? We've got tremendous facilities here. I tell guys they really take care of you. So that's one thing I can say about our company. They're interested in your well-being from a fitness standpoint. We have one of the worst diets you could probably think of for a fitness company.
Gotcha.
But I've really met some family members here. And I think that's been a blessing for me.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you, so you were a Nike, it's just funny because I love that sweatshirt, by the way.
So how
That's
many
a
is
new one?
we did it last homecoming.
Oh, okay.
So we do some. They're one
So
of the Jordan
collab.
sponsor school. Yeah.
Okay.
We do, yes.
Do they do a lot of schools like that?
Not Jordan, but Nike. Yes, they do.
Okay. Yeah, because I've seen Nike ones, but not a lot of Jordan.
Correct.
Okay. So how big was, and you worked with the Jordan brand
This is my
before,
second stint. Yes.
second stint, and then what other divisions have you worked in?
So I started off in what's called Nike equipment. So at that time, we sold sunglasses, watches, sports balls. The first golf balls that we did. So
Oh, really?
Tiger Woods. Yeah.
Do you play?
I do.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Not well, but I play.
Okay. Yeah.
Inline skates.
Oh, really? I didn't know they made. I didn't know they made skates.
Yeah. We made skates. It was tennis shoes. Inline skates.
Oh, really?
Hockey sticks.
I didn't know.
Sunglasses, watches, socks.
Gotcha.
hats. So I had a car full of tools.
Oh, I'm sure. Man, so that must have been fun.
Oh no, it was fun. A lot of windshield time, we call it. So I had a 5-state territory, and I was single back then, so I spent a lot of time on the road. Probably in the first 8 months, I did close to 35,000 miles.
Wow. Wow.
But enjoyed it. Had them all.
Yeah, that's amazing. I got to been over there, walked around, got to do a bunch of different things. Even the gyms, like you said, those gyms are fire. I know we were going to try to work out together. Sorry, I didn't work out.
No, no worries.
But I wouldn't be able to keep up with you, bro. I could spot you, but I don't know.
I mean, you might not be able to spot me right now. I mean, I'm picking up right now. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's impressive. It's an impressive campus. And to think, I mean, everything, but here's the deal. Everything big starts small.
It sure does.
And nothing grows without people. As an individual, as a leader, you can only grow anything so big by yourself. And we're not designed to do that.
No.
And from a leadership perspective, you've held different roles. What are some of you, like people that work for you, like what are some of the leadership aspects of leadership that you really bring that you're like, these are really important to help me be a great leader this is how I lead?
I like to tell folks, Todd, and I learned this from the military. The first thing I tell guys is, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that and your integrity, to me, is number one.
Right.
A leader that you can't trust, to me, is not a leader. Mm-hmm. And I just tell folks, I've met tremendous number of managers and very few leaders. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of folks who can manage things.
Right.
But I don't think there's a lot of folks who can lead.
Right.
I think the other thing you do, and at least I do, is to make sure my folks feel empowered. I need to let you do your thing. How can I help you? And what can I move out the way that's in your way? Mm-hmm. And one of the things my father taught me is that as a leader, your goals are made up of the goals of your people. So if you concentrate on helping them out, they all roll up. You'll get your things that you need to get.
Yeah.
So I've always approached it that way. How do I help you be better? How do I help you accomplish the things you need to do?
Yeah.
From a teammate standpoint, because if I do all that, that'll roll up to me and I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think about it too in the culture we live in, and this is no dogging anybody, but as far as a straight top-down dictator type leadership is not a great model.
No.
It won't fly like it used to. Like when I was younger, it could be that way. I'm not saying it was healthy, but it could be that way. Now, if you want the best out of it and you really want to grow something and build something, it'd be really hard to do it that way.
I think the other thing, Todd, for me, and again, this is in my book, and I tell guys that my goal has always been to meet the guy that I'm brushing my teeth, to make sure he's the same guy that was when I was shaving in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I say that again, and to me, that goes back to integrity. If those two guys are different, my job is the next morning to get up and find out what happened to that guy who was shaving the first day. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of the things I tell folks. And sometimes because of that, you got to decide, how far will I climb up the ladder?
Right.
Is it worth me losing my integrity? And for me, it was just always bred in me that, no, your integrity is more important than anything. Mm-hmm. Even if it doesn't mean you don't rise up to the ladder as far as you think you should rise.
Right.
So be it. That's part of the territory.
Yeah, and I think, too, understanding there's a pace to every race. And sometimes we all have desires.
Oh, absolutely.
And even things that we believe are ours, we're going to get them. We still got to run the pace for the race. And just because we get to something early doesn't mean it's healthy for us.
Correct.
I mean, I told you I love to cook. Like half-baked cake, not very good. Fully baked is good. Half-baked anything is just not. It's not good. And it is hard. For for people when they have dreams and they have visions to be able to say, okay, I just want to do it the right way though. Do it the right way.
And the right way to make it last. I told my wife this. People said, we were talking earlier, and they said how slow you were getting with your wife. But I tell guys that when I met her, it was like having a steak that's undone. One of the guys told me, he goes, hey, I went to this one steakhouse, and they brought out all these beautiful steaks and showed me what this one was. Here's the marbling. Here's why we cook this one this way. And I said, but you know what's interesting about that? Until that meat is cooked, wasn't going to do you any good.
Right.
And I told her, hey, had you and I connected at that time, you would have got a raw steak. Because I had several flaws, very selfish, some of those things that.
Right.
And the Lord had to take that out of me. And the cooking part, I tell folks, is life.
Right.
So you go into the oven of life, and hopefully you come out well done and something worth eating.
Right. Yeah. No, that's really good. And I think the military talks about this too, and the idea of mission first. Now there is a mission first element to life. Mission first, people always.
Yep.
Is a great slogan. Do you find that same slogan? It sounds like you try to live that too. How prevalent is that though? Like, is that hard to teach people to to adopt that mantra?
Oh no, it's very hard. And I say that, I think especially in this current climate, Todd, so many guys are, what about me? What's in it for me? And that was a statement we learned in sales. I told
WIIFM.
Yep. What's in it for me?
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, a lot of folks live their lives, hey, what's in it for me? And you have to be more outward facing. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
What's in it for the folks around you? And to me, you learn that makes what's in it for you. And I think I learned that most, probably some of the missions I got a chance to go on. You go to help folks, you come to find out I'm the guy in tears, although I'm down here working. Why?
Yeah, what missions have you done?
So I've been to Guatemala a
Okay.
couple times. I've been to Alaska to help build some things.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah, fantastic, man. It's an unbelievable experience.
Yeah, it's very rewarding.
Very rewarding.
Yeah.
And again, but you go to give.
Right.
And you leave like, man, what? I don't know that I've done anything, but I know I've received a whole bunch of things.
So how do you see your platform now? I know it's in your heart. How do you see your platform now that you have that you use to help people? Or because God's gifted you and God's blessed you with amazing career, amazing company, amazing platform with amazing people. How do you see that flowing through you?
Zod, you say that I took a pastor friend of mine on campus and I shared with him, I said, I'm getting kind of tired and maybe it's time for me to retire. And ironically, I think everybody I knew at Nike, I met walking across campus with him. Hey, KJ, hey, what's going on? So he goes, you know what? I figured out something about you, KJ. You're not here for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about you. It's about who you can influence and who you can affect. I think I learned that early in my life. A young lady, matter of fact, told me, you're going to preach, but your pulpit is not here in the church.
Yeah.
It'll be out and about, and you'll reach folks that other folks won't reach.
Right.
And I think I took that seriously, Todd. And the older I get, the more seriously I take that. I've got a responsibility. I'm okay. And I tell folks, could I retire tomorrow? I could. I love some more money and a bigger stock price, of course. But I think life is more than that. Matter of fact, I know it is. And I know he's blessed me with a gift, opportunity to meet and influence folks. And I think that's what we're supposed to do. How can I help them be the best they can be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like everybody has a mission of their life. Everybody's got a mission. And if, I'll put it this way, especially for guys, the longer you put off finding your mission, the more you'll find a mess.
I love it.
Because it's just hard. We all meant for a mission. I was talking to Ronnie, right? We were talking about the idea of a retirement, and I was sharing with him. I said, I'm not saying people can't retire and slow down, but you still need something to do because your life matters. And most people, if you're engaged and you're a builder in life and you're making a difference, you don't just stop doing that and do nothing unless that's what you have to do physically. Right. But apart from that, you should be ramping down to fit your lifestyle. But at the same time, there's the world needs what you have.
Absolutely.
And tell me about your book and why you're writing that. What was that about?
It's interesting. Again, in the effort to reach folks, I had been talking. I've got a chance to speak to some groups, some kids, and a couple of people at work said, "Man, you got to write some of the stuff down. You got something in you." I listen to you speak to folks. I listen to you present.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a story to tell. Why don't you tell it? And I think I just started praying about it and kind of shared it with the wife. We actually were going to write one together. And she said, babe, a lot of the folks I'm writing about are still alive, still dealing with some feelings and things like that. It's going to be tough for me. She said, but you do have your own story you need to write. So I think that was the impetus behind that, Todd. It's interesting because, like I said, I'm playing around with a title, and I didn't know if I only knew. I wish I had known, something to that effect. But one of the things I used to marvel at was my father in the neighborhood I grew up in, Virginia. Young men would always like to talk to him. Well, of course, we'd hear him all the time, so I don't want to hear from that guy. He'd always get me barking and stuff to do.
Right.
But they would, hey, man, let's go talk to your dad. Man, let's talk to him. But I noticed that he would leave some nuggets with some of those guys. He had a great effect on those. So I think that's one of the things I inherited from him. What is my responsibility to pass on what I know? I tell folks I'm not an accomplished athlete. I'm not a senior leader at Nike or Jordan. I didn't make it where I thought I'd make it. But I've got 6 decades on this planet.
Yeah.
And I just believe I have something to share and I can help somebody else out. So that's kind of the impetus behind that. Hey, you have to share your story. And I don't want it necessarily to be autobiographical.
Right.
But I don't think I'm important enough. But I think there's some stories to share where they can pull some nuggets out of that may help them and not trip up to where
Well, there's power in your personal story, right? Because it's yours and it's real life. It's not some fairy tale. And there's the ups and downs of what you've lived. And it's authentic because it's authentic to you. So, you know, the best that you could bring that God could use is what he's given, is your life.
Yeah.
That's it. And it does matter. And even if you said, hey, like I'm not the senior leaders, like you still are a leader. And the point is every single person is a 10 at something. And every single person, this is not just a sound cool or a sound bite. Every single person on the planet has a reason for this print to leave behind. That there's a reason why they're here. If you wake up, there's a reason. And it doesn't mean that purpose is like this big, huge thing. I'm going to save a baby from a burning building. Yeah, maybe. But most likely, it's like learning that I wake up with a sense of mission. There's a reason. In a lot of mornings, like I have a routine before I go to bed because I really sleep well. Some of my friends are like, man, just stop talking about it. I'm like, oh, thank God I sleep really good. You know, no problem. Like unless I got stressed with my daughter or something, but like little things. But in general, I sleep really good. And I'm like, I get in, I go to bed. I'm like, man, this is a great opportunity. This is a gift. Okay, I had a great day today, or it was hard, but I'm like, I had a good day today. My baseball coach in high school, he was like, when he would say, how you doing, Boffo? Anybody, good and getting better, coach. The only acceptable answer was good and getting better. If it was like, I'm not good, it's good and get. Because even as great as you think you are, you're good and getting better. As bad as it is, you're good and getting better. So if you didn't want to run, you answered that way. It was brilliant. It's a brilliant phrase.
Oh, it is a brilliant phrase.
And I don't know that I say it exactly like that, but I go to bed and I think, man, this is so good. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to sleep great tonight. And I get the chance to start over tomorrow. Man, maybe this thing goes so good today. I got to do a better job with this. God, I'm trying to help me with this. I'm really thankful for this. This has been great. You know, having these conversations today, getting able to be here, but I'm going to bed and I'm just going to sleep so good. I'm going to wake up, renew, refresh, do it again. But some version of that, you know, is what that's how I do. But
I hope you don't mind. I may steal that from you.
Yeah, it's for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Because it matters. Like, I mean, there's you know, as the scriptures say, tomorrow's where he has enough for itself.
Right.
There's enough. There's always something. And the truth of the matter is when I'm thinking about tomorrow, I'm creating a future that hasn't happened yet.
Correct.
Every thought I have about the future hasn't happened yet. So whatever I think, none of it's happened.
Nothing's happened yet. Yeah.
Nothing's happened yet. So like whatever way I decide to process that, it's like this is a computer. Now I don't need to ignore serious things. At the same time, there's no reason I should be feeding myself negativity or nice things for what reason. And some people, you know, even some of you listening to this, I know you're maybe juggling with some weights and dealing with some stuff, but you're your own worst enemy. You don't, you know, they say, remember an old thing with Flip Wilson, you say, the devil made me do it? Some of you won't remember that. Right? The devil made me do it. You don't need the devil to help you to do it because you do it to yourself. Like, you don't need to be out doing crazy stuff. You just, in this world that you live in, the 6 inches right here is the place, that battlefield of the mind. And it is a struggle for a lot of people. At the same time, it's a struggle you can win. You're designed to win.
I love that. No, thank you for sharing that for me.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going through, I think I told you a couple months ago, I had back surgery.
Yeah.
And learning almost how to walk again.
Mm.
And it's been tough, I tell folks. And I've had some
imagine.
moments, the last 2 months. I tell the wife, hey, she said, you're tearing up. I said, I'm hurting,
Mm.
And I said, really bad. And she's always, babe, it's going to get better.
Mm.
And I have to start believing that. And
Yes.
I'm telling myself, hey, yeah, it's going to get better.
Yeah.
Today is better than yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday is better than the day before that. So I'm
Yeah.
moving in the right direction.
Yeah. And I've said this
the right
to people, like
direction.
negative people. I'm not saying you're negative because you're dealing with something for real. But again, these are habits. They're habits.
sure,
My
yeah.
thought. What's my thought pattern? Habits. What do I go to? Now, there's times where I gotta change, like the pity party. I would say, like, pity party. Just don't make it a pity parade.
Yep.
That's what happens. A pity party wants to be extended, like it's a mummers parade going down Broad Street in Philly. It's like you got everybody having a big time. Next thing you know, we're doing, it's a 3-day parade. Well, that's not healthy, right? Like, it's not. And at some point, I'm the one that can change it. God can help me change
Absolutely.
it. And life everything isn't great all the time, but it's not that bad.
No.
And it's going to change. Everything in life changes, man. And you talked about this in my book. I talked about this every 7 years. So it's funny you said 7. There are changes in life roughly every 7 years. There's going to be a shift. There's going to be a change where you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. It takes on a different place. And a funny thing is, we've never been here before.
That's correct.
You've never been here before having to go
No.
through it. So you've always been strong, an athlete. You've always been able to control things and take care of things. And I mean, control bad, but just like you could live your life, right? Well, when that gets taken away and you have to start over again, you never had to do that like this at this age. And also it makes it hard.
What makes it hard, you learn a whole different thing of reliability. I tell guys, and my wife will tell you, that's my girl. And I protect her. I tell guys all the time, you can do whatever you want to me, but that one, I've got a side of Peter. And
Right.
That's not
Right.
good for you to say. I don't want to slice your ear off. But it's on. And I told her, I said, sweetheart, I'm vulnerable right now because I can't even protect you.
Mm.
She goes, but yeah, that's what God, it wasn't you anyway.
Right.
It's always been him.
Right.
So you're learning that, hey, you never were the guy anyway.
Yeah.
He was always the guy.
Yeah.
He might use you, but he's always been the guy, not you.
Yeah.
That's humbling to hear that,
Yeah.
even from your wife.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And I think too, the military, it builds certain things that are really, really good. Now, I didn't serve. I had a little heart murmur because I probably wouldn't went in the Navy. My grandfather was Navy. My dad's in the Navy. But there is a common theme with that training and mindset, right? That builds character. People decide to live it differently. But, what other things from your military career are things that you look at that you're like, I'm just so grateful that they were put into my life, just through that experience?
I think one of the things that I love is that I met guys and worked for guys and worked with guys, supervised guys from all over the place. I think I learned it from my father. My father was in the segregated army. He got drafted in the Black Army, Negro Army, back in 44. And he always taught us, you can learn something from anybody who's walking.
That's good.
And I think I was able to take that and ingest that. And one of the things I've learned, I've got an opportunity to work with all kinds of folks, and everybody brings a unique story to the table. And you can learn from anybody. I think if nothing else, as a leader, I've learned that the custodian can teach you something. So you treat everybody as a human being and as you would like to be treated. And I think that's probably one of the things I pride myself on. You go in the building now, I know the custodians by name. And we speak every morning, hey, KJ, hey, Val, what's going on? How are you? How are things? People, they're people, man.
Yeah.
They're human beings.
Yeah.
And they have a story.
Yes.
You don't know this guy could be a millionaire and just happen to say, I like cleaning up also. So you never know anybody's story. So you want to make sure you treat folks as you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And that's whoever.
Well, and when you treat everybody the same, you don't have to fake it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You don't need to put anything on.
No.
Treat everybody the same. And I always say too, I get so much favor in my life, and it's not even purposeful, but like I also have sown into that of helping people and connecting people. Like I've always done that. So but I never sat there. I'm like, I'm going to do this, and then I hope I'm going to get it. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like you don't wheel and deal with God. You know what I mean? Like there's principles that work, and principles always work. And I think, when you love people and you just treat people, I always have the same. I always tell people like, hey, you want to do something for yourself next time you go to like a really nice resort, go down, get the concierge, find out who's out front, greet them, tell them how thankful you are, helping you out, give them some money, and just celebrate everybody that's serving around you.
Absolutely.
And you know what? It's funny because eventually, something happens or whatever, and I don't do it because I hope they do something for me. But do you know how many times something will be like, oh, this, that, or where you going to the restaurant, or like weird things that'll happen that like help me avoid an issue or a problem, and it just becomes the pattern.
Absolutely.
It just becomes a pattern of like, how can I look for ways to be a blessing to be. I really do.
And I think also along with that, it's a thing of respect for us. And one of the things I've learned, Todd, you got to respect everybody.
Yeah.
And the respect is even, I tell guys, they say, man, you put up your dishes and all that stuff. We have folks to do that. Yeah, but they didn't mess it up. I did.
Right.
So
right.
I've learned you put away your own stuff. And I think, when I go to a hotel, I do that. I put pillows back in place on the floor, and we're just going to remake the bed. I know, but I at least want them to understand that, hey, I don't just come tear up the room and not thinking about you.
Right.
I want to make sure that I leave it, and as my father would say, leave things so that people invite you back.
Right. Yeah, that's good. So, you've had your career military, you had your career at Xerox, you're at Nike. What's next for you?
It's interesting. I got my master's recently.
Oh, man.
In digital marketing. Thank you very much. And I did that, Todd, because I wanted to do some teaching. And I thought that when Nike's done with me or I'm done with them, whatever comes first, I might do some teaching. I definitely want to do some things back in my church. I enjoy the Bible. I enjoy teaching the Bible and that. So I want to do some of that. But I always want to be involved with younger folks. And I think that's one of the things my financial person challenges me with. Before you ever consider retiring, tell me what you're going to do. That's what she said, because retirement's not in the Bible.
Right, yeah.
It's not written in there.
Right.
So what's the next chapter? And I think that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking forward to the next chapter. I think there's a teaching piece of me that I need to exercise. I'm excited about doing that. And I want to do that with some folks who are younger than me.
Yeah, that's great. And the book's going to be a piece to that, which will be
It will
good.
be.
Yeah, it's going to be a big piece.
Yeah. I'm hoping to do some speaking based on that. And again, the goal is, how do you implant and how do you excite younger folks and help folks out? One of the things I tell guys, one of the first things in my book I talk about, and I think the quote is from Henry Ford, but it says, many people climb the ladder of success only to find they're leaning against the wrong building. And I think early in my career, I was doing the same thing. I was grasping for things but they're meaningless.
Right.
So what you don't want to do is do like, Ecclesiastes and get like Solomon. Hey, at the end of his life, everything, meaningless.
Right.
No, you don't want to live. You want to live a life fulfilled.
Yeah.
I think that's probably my charge, and what I want to make sure that I'm doing when I retire, when I leave Nike. I want something that's going to fulfill my life and fulfill the purpose that he created me for.
That's good. So who's been the most influential person in your life?
It's odd. I've got two pastor friends that have really, and one of my buddies works for FBI. And I love these guys because they give it to you straight. And to me, my dad gave it to me straight. I tell folks I don't like beating around the bush. They've probably been the most influential. It's odd when you work in a place like the Pentagon, people always ask, hey, who did you meet? I had lunch with two sitting presidents. Met Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, you name it. Every senator and congressman we have there. But I remember two lieutenant colonels and a major who was a Marine. Three of the sharpest guys you ever want to meet. One very quirky lieutenant colonel, one very buttoned-up lieutenant colonel. And I heard somebody talk about him one day, Todd, and this never left me. And I said, why didn't that guy make colonel? We don't need him for that, so on and so on. He's not this, he's not that. I said, it's interesting, though. Every time you guys need to get something done, you go to that guy.
Right.
And they said, because he gets stuff done. Well, they didn't use the word stuff.
Right.
I said, so it's ironic that you don't promote him, but you always go to that guy to get stuff done. So that always impressed me. And it always kind of instilled in me that you may not reach the top, but make sure you're getting stuff done.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. So I know that you have your book. I know, man, I love your heart, and even talking to you before, hearing what you shared, and being poured into other people, and especially young people.
Yeah.
In the world that we live in today, even statistics for fatherlessness or just fathers not present, it's a big problem. And I'm thankful because I had a great dad. My dad's still living, but older, but like, I'm so grateful because I had some friends growing up. They used to love being at our house. They used to love my parents. Like, that was the fun place to come. And, I remember one time one friend's like, he's like, man, I'm just so jealous. I was like, why? He's like, man, I just wish I had a dad like your dad. And I was like, look, no, I love my dad, but I was like, dude, that's a weird thing to say. It's just a weird thing to say. Don't say stuff like that. I'm like, your dad's great. But and his dad wasn't terrible. He just wasn't present.
See, mine wasn't alive. It's odd, Todd. But that's what I said. It's such a contrast. He left us with nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was
the
anchor. Yeah.
She was the one.
My mom was the anchor. She was a neighborhood mom. She worked, actually, when I went to high school, all the kids were in school, so she decided to take a job in the school cafeteria. So everybody knew her.
She could be around. And
she could be around.
Yeah.
But everybody knew her. Guys in the neighborhood, hey, let's go see Mrs. Johnson. She could cook out of her mind, so they loved that. But again, I always wanted to give Wiley advice. So ironically, I can remember coming back home one year. I had moved away and came back home to visit her. And there's like 2 or 3 limousines parked in front of the house. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So I go in the house and I said, Mom, these are some of my students. They wanted to bring their dates by. So we take some pictures and stuff together.
Wow.
But she was that kind of lady.
Wow.
And I tell guys some of the stories from her. I can remember I bought a refrigerator from a friend of mine, big 2-door deal. And my brother came to pick it up, one of my other brothers. And I say, hey, he's going to pick it up, take it to Mom. So, of course, when I come back home, I'm looking at the same old quote-unquote raggedy refrigerator. I'm like, Mom, what's going on here? I had Freddie pick up the refrigerator for you and bring it. He goes, yeah, son, but this other lady needed one more, and mine still works. So I just didn't feel right, I gave her the one that you bought for me.
Wow.
That was my mother.
Right.
So, as I said, my dad, I think more from a discipline standpoint, imprint. My mother, from a love and care for people, it's her.
Yeah,
that's
good.
my girl. Yeah.
That's really good, man. I love it. Well, man, it's been good talking to you. I appreciate you taking the time. Looking forward to doing a Bible study together and reconnecting tomorrow.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate you sharing. I think there's one thing I want to say, man, is there's no such thing as ordinary in the sense of with God and where we are. God knows our name. That's the creator of all the universe. And wherever we find ourselves, whether people know us or not, I like what you said, but we have the chance to get it done.
Yeah.
So for everybody listening, where you think you need to be or you're not quite there yet, get your stuff done.
Yeah.
And it's not just like clean up this here and there. I'm talking about with your life, be intentional. Be intentional with your life. Be intentional where you're investing your life into and what you're giving. You're going to give your life to something.
Yeah.
Life is an exchange. We are exchanging time as a currency for something. Make sure when you get to the end or when you got to the end of it, it's really what you wanted. So here's the last question. If you had we could do a FaceTime to heaven right now and you could contact anybody you wanted, who would you contact and what would you want to say to them?
My parents, and I would tell them thank you. I think as you grow up, I said, people would tell you stuff, hey, son, you don't know. And I think my parents, matter of fact, I don't think I know, they saved me from some things. They were, hey, can't do this, can't hang out with these guys. A lot of those guys didn't make it, were in prison. And one of the things I tell younger guys now, your parents are sometimes they've seen the most uncoolest folks in the world.
Right.
They just don't get it. They get it.
Right, yeah.
They know you
more than you realize.
More than you realize.
Yeah.
And they actually saved you for some things that you never knew. So I tell guys that all the time. Say, hey, would you meet Martin Luther King sometime? No. I go to my parents and tell them thank you. Because without what you instilled in me, I'm not here. Not much.
Right, yeah.
But I'm what I'm supposed to be.
Right.
And because of what you taught me, I'm here.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
I'm thankful.
I love it. Yeah, it's a great reminder, too. If you're watching here and you do have parents that are still alive, there will be a day.
Oh, yeah.
If you have the chance, say thank you.
Yes.
take some time. I'm trying to spend more time with my parents. They're alive. They're getting older, but I'm so thankful for them. But I'm so thankful for you, man. My prayer is that you continue to do the good work, that things at Nike would continue to shine. I know you can't talk about everything, but you got some really cool stuff cooking.
No, thank
and then after that, besides there, that God will continue to bless you and just use you to influence and impact people, making this world a better place, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for being by here today. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man.
That's a wrap for the Todd Boffo Show. We will see you on next episode.